Oi pessoal, tudo bem? It's Eliochi aqui, and I'm with you guys again to cook you another authentic Brazilian dish as I introduce you to the fantastic world of Brazilian culture and cuisine. This one was inspired from my last adventure in Brazil when I went to the state of Minas Gerais and I discovered one of the most authentic dishes there called Frango Caipira com Quiabo. Now frango is Portuguese for chicken, Caipira is for country person, and Quiabo for okra. So in English, it's country style chicken with okras. Guys, I really enjoyed this. I think you guys will too. So look, let's talk. Let's get straight into it. Vamos lá. Oh, Hugo, olha só.
Ó, Eliote, bom demais, né? Ô, Eliote.
In November 2019, my friends and I went for a road trip through the state of Minas Gerais. We drove through the beautiful historic towns of Tiradentes, Mariana and Ouro Preto. On one of these days, we visited our friend Thales, who went to the University of Sydney with Hugo and I. He now owns and operates a successful farm near Ouro Preto and was kind enough to invite us to stay as his guest. It was a fantastic experience being a caipira for the day. And it was this experience that inspired today's recipe using chicken and okras. For this recipe, you'll need one whole large chicken and about 1 kilogram of okras, as well as garlic, onions, paprika, lime, and bay leaves. To remain authentic with its caipira roots, I'm keeping the feet and the giblets and I'm going to throw it all in the pot. Garlic is such an important part of Brazilian cooking, and in Minas Gerais especially so. In this recipe, dice up about 5 cloves of garlic. The chicken will need to be chopped. First, we butterfly the chicken. The key to butterflying a chicken is to remove the backbone. Then we snap the breastbone to get that butterfly shape. Remove all the little bones and ribs using your fingers or a paring knife. The paring knife is most useful for cutting the fleshy bits and separating the chicken. But when it comes to bone, you'll need a butcher's cleaver. Cut the pieces of chicken into manageable, bite-sized portions that will cook easily in the pot. But don't cut them too small. And make sure your cleaver is really sharp so you cut through the bone and don't leave any fragments. In a large bowl, marinate the pieces of chicken with lime juice and salt. Make sure it's all covered. I love using pork lard. It's very authentic and tastes great, but feel free to use olive oil. Make that pot and oil extra hot so when you throw that garlic in, it makes that fantastic sizzle sound. Before the garlic starts to burn, you want to add your chicken. But be gentle in this process. Don't pour it all in. Add pieces in bit by bit because you don't want to have the oil splash back onto you and burn you. Also, the aim is to fry the chicken and we want to make sure that it all fries evenly. Stir to make sure the chicken doesn't stick to the pot due to the heat. Then, once golden brown, add about 2 cups of water to start the process of making the sauce. Then turn down the heat, put the lid on and let simmer for 20 minutes. So by this point, we can start adding some extra spices. Here I've got the paprika and bay leaves. 2 or 3 tablespoons of paprika will work perfectly. By this point, the texture of the sauce, the smells and the colours are really starting to develop. Seal with the lid again and leave to simmer for another 15 to 20 minutes. But make sure you turn the heat right down. A lot of the moisture is going to evaporate, so to rebuild your sauce and prepare for the quiabo and onions, you want to add a bit more water. Once that water's stirred in, you'll notice the consistency of this sauce or caldo is perfect. Now it's time for the onions and the okras, the quiabo. Cut the onions however way you prefer, but the okras really should be cut into nice little chunks like we're doing here. A quick tip, turn the heat up quite high before adding the onions and okras so you get that nice fried, stir-fry sizzle effect. Then after about a minute or two of stirring, you can turn it down. You will lose a lot of moisture, so make sure to add a bit of extra water to build up the sauce level. Then put the lid on to maintain the moisture. Simmer on low heat until the okras and onions are nice and soft. Now it's time to prepare the parsley. Alrighty folks, I can smell this in my house and here it is, the time has come. Oh, look at that, wow, olha só. Here we have the Frango Caipira com Quiabo, bubbling away. It looks exactly how it's meant to be. The meat is falling off the bone of the chicken, which is beautiful. Here's the parsley which we're about to add, and I'll also put in a bit of coriander as well, actually, salsinha. And there's the milho, or the polenta, looking very nice. So it's all just about ready to go, folks. The final stage is to mix in a bit of parsley and some coriander if you want as well. There are many ways to serve this dish, but one of the authentic and traditional ways is on a bed of polenta. Some people, depending on the region, may also have a side of rice and put some feijão, beans, on that as well, and that'll make a complete meal. But today we're going to keep it simple and just lay the Frango Caipira com Quiabo on top of the polenta. Doesn't that look fantastic? Look at the texture, the colours, the big pieces of chicken. Absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to trying this one. Oh, guys, it's finally done. And now, the moment of truth. How does it taste? It looks very good. It smelt amazing. But the proof's in the pudding. A nice big piece of chicken. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, very, very good. That's fantastic. I had this dish once while I was in Minas Gerais, and I'm quite pleased to say it tastes quite similar. Absolutely beautiful. It's really, really good. Well, I hope you enjoyed this classic recipe, and I look forward to seeing you for the next one in the next video. Until then, até logo. Ciao.